Hopefulness, day 26. That was a long video yesterday. And I was considering wearing a shirt, but it's cold. So, for now, until it's not, it's whatever. The chick, I do not have any. Okay, so I don't have any of these prepped. So I'm going to go ahead and prep some of these now. I'm going to try to mise my place. Not a whole lot left, so light the smaller ones, cut the bigger one. No, there's really no room. Right. I'm just gonna go with this hunk of meat today instead of doing the ground beef, because I'll have, well, I'll put a little bit in there because I got a lot of ground beef left. Yeah, I'm gonna do a little bit. I'm not gonna go crazy on it though. I need to slice these in half and then put them into something. Boom. Where is me knife? There is me knife. I have to sharpen this at some point soon. Because the most dangerous tool in your kitchen is a dull knife. Well, the most dangerous knife is a dull knife. Well, okay. The second most dangerous knife is a dull knife. The most dangerous knife is a knife that falls. Because a knife that falls has no handle. It is a saying and / general rule to use because you do not want to attempt to catch a falling knife. Because where are you going to catch it? You ain't going to catch it on the fucking handle, that's for sure. You're probably going to catch it on the blade, which is why the saying is what it is. Falling knife has no handle. Go ahead and wipe up the small amount of tomato guts. It's on the countertop. So apparently, the whole issue with cherry tomatoes is that because of the square cube law, they're going to be more likely to be ripe, fresher, and last longer because their size allows them to basically just maintain their integrity. Whereas a larger tomato isn't going to have the same kind of integrity, physically speaking. This is going to be harder to ship and everything else. So if you really want that tomatoiness, the best thing to do is I'm just going to you out and all you do is put rice in it, and I'm going to put rice in you again. But yeah, so the tomatoiness you get either way, but it's manages to ship better, and you can still get the good flavors of tomatoes. Oops, rice falling on the countertop. I didn't really do much yesterday. Just kind of screwed around, played more of a quest. Some intermittent. Although I did It's small, but I mean, I guess it's something. But crap. Shit. That's the problem with having a bunch of containers filled with water, is that sometimes your sponge falls into them. So I took everything off the bed other than the things that I use. So the blanket, the one blanket that I use, and the pillows, of course. There was another blanket that I never used, and then there was a duvet. Took that off. I see the whole reason why people are all about like weighted blankets, because I mean that's basically what a duvet is. I guess just a weighted blanket is even heavier, more uniform. It's basically got chains inside of it or something from the last time I recall looking into them. And I mean, I get it, you know, having that extra pressure can be comforting, and especially for people who have, you know, like specific touch sensory needs. I know that there's this one girl, I can't remember her name right off the top of my head, something Forrest or something or other, I don't remember, I can't remember, anyway. But she's on TikTok, and she's autistic. But apparently she's like super successful too. She's like, her job has something to do with various bugs and butterflies and stuff, and she's like a bug aficionado. And so like she's been able to take this, I mean, I guess you could call it obsession, I'm not really sure, but and make it something that she can do for financial gain, which is great. I'm a bit jealous. I mean, not only is she, like, she's really good at it, which helps, obviously. But yeah, it's fascinating. But she talks about, you know, stimming and the various things that she needs to do with regards to, you know, making herself feel better in certain things. And she even has like this sling that's like attached to the ceiling that she gets in, like a cocoon almost, which is interesting, you know, considering, you know, the sort of the bug theme to it, I guess. And she's always wearing headphones because apparently she has sensory issues with those, with, you know, noises and the like, and so she's always wearing some kind of headphones to help isolate sound. I mean, I get it, you know, there's some things that I don't like doing. There's certain sensations that I don't like. I say I get it in a sense, obviously. I don't get exactly what she's experiencing because I don't experience what she experiences, but it helps to understand yourself when other people kind of explain it in a way that you've never been able to explain. You know, for me, I don't like doing dishes. I don't really like doing dishes because, I mean, one, it's wasteful. It's more water than is necessary. But two, I don't really like getting my hands covered in schmutz. It's an unpleasant feeling for me. It is sensorily disgusting, but I do it because I have to. I don't have a choice in this matter. Now, if I had a place that had a dishwasher, of course, I would still wash dishes by hand every now and then. And you know, it's interesting because, like, there is this, and it kind of goes back to a video I just watched. And it's not really I wasn't intending to get to this kind of direction, but it helps to sort of sell the point. But So I was watching this video about Tucker Carlson, and he's effectively, trying to be a populist. He's an elite and all this stuff, and he's talking about how certain aspects of our society, especially people like him, talk about a specific narrative with regards to social issues and the like, and be they political or otherwise, economic, etc. And I'm getting to the point. I have to build to it because I have to kind of like let it rattle in my head to hit the right things and make the most sense to me. Because I just thought of it, and then now I've got to let it sort of simmer and toss this anyway. So, in it, we talk about how the fact that, let's say for instance, instead of covering real issues like economic issues, especially being a thing, or dealing with Medicaid, Medicare, social things that affect the everyday people, and how, let's say the rich are getting richer in some capacity or another. Somebody who is effectively on the side of the rich but makes it seem like they're an everyday man. We'll talk about something else like entitled millennials, and that was a thing that was being talked about, and how and he was talking to Mike Rowe, who I used to really respect, but over the last several years, I've been losing a lot of respect for him, because it's like, I don't like the things that you're saying. It's like you had a show about the everyday man and the everyman, and praising the hard work of the everyman, but at the same time, like, it's the everyman within a very specific, narrow, it's a little too narrow, I think. It's a little too specialized when it comes to talking points about specific sections of America. Those people are in those jobs, and they have to do those jobs because they have to be done, but also often they don't get paid enough, and they're not getting what they need because of a lot of our economic policies and the like, and it comes, and there's a lot of, these people are getting fucked over by the rich. The average person is getting fucked over by the rich, and, then you have politicians like Trump who are not helping the everyday people. And instead of talking to, people about it who can help with those issues, you talk to another celebrity and you focus on somebody else. You're basically saying these problems exist because of this other group. And there's this this image that floats around, and it's a dude that has it's like there's two guys sitting at a table, one's black, one's white, and there's another dude in the middle, and he's got a bunch of cookies. And this dude over here has one cookie, and this dude over here has 2 cookies, and the guy in the middle has 30 cookies. And the guy in the middle is leaning over to the white guy, pointing to the black guy, saying, "That guy over there wants your cookies." That's the same situation. It's distraction from real issues. And the reason that I even thought of entitled millennials is when you have a person who is autistic, who has something that seems so extravagant and almost unreal and unnecessary, but that person feels better as a person because of it. There will be people out there saying, this is what's wrong with our society right now. That there are people out here who think they need this superfluous crap. And it's not superfluous when it's useful. I don't like having things behind closed doors. when it comes to like stuff. I mean, I want to be behind closed doors because I want my own privacy and all that, but I'm talking about like there's a reason why this stuff has not been put into a drawer. Why none of this has been put into a fucking drawer, because I need stuff to be visible, because if it's not visible, I forget about it. And then there will be people with it, well, you just need better discipline. No, fuck you. I need to see shit. Because, like a baby, I have issues with object permanence. And it sucks. And it fucks with my life. And it's like, that's what accommodation is. Like, that's why this pantry door does not close. There's a door right there. It does not close. It doesn't need to close. It doesn't even need to be there, in my opinion. Like, I don't need a pantry door at all. Now, I get it. There's some elements to having a kitchen that can be problematic if you don't close things. You know, when you cook certain things and grease and shit splatters all over the fucking place and it coats your stuff, and I can understand that being a problem. But I'm gonna go ahead and just put this meat back up. Okay. Only one meat today. But that's the nature of me. That's what I need. I don't even have a fucking cutting board. So, just gonna do what I've done before. Bite-sized pieces. Let's try to rip them. Doesn't help. Let's taste good. Is it barbaric? I don't know, maybe. But here's a question. Someone who does that, they need a cutting board, right? Like, if that's a need, is it entitled? Or is it simply just better? A better way of doing things? I don't know, maybe. And that's one of the, I haven't understood a lot of things. Right? It's one thing to not understand something, to question it, learn about it, and then understand it. It's another thing to not understand something, question it, and through your question, make it seem like an accusation. That's the just asking questions crowd. They don't actually want answers. They want to make a statement, but they want to play the devil's advocate. They don't want to make a statement. They want to espouse their beliefs in an disingenuous. They want to do it in a disingenuous manner. I know. I used to be that person. Now, there is some validity to such an approach. Not a lot. There's some validity to that approach if you are genuine about trying to understand the thing that popped up in your head. That's perfectly acceptable. If that's the thing that pops up in your head, and you're like, but wait a minute, hold on a second. I get that. But if that thing detracts from the point at hand, even if you didn't do it on purpose, it's something to be avoided if possible. And it's best to get back on track. Like, me saying that is difficult because I'm an AED space case. Living on track is very difficult. On track is not part of my everyday. This will be my meat container. Still need to wash these. I just haven't had much use for them yet. that extra fat that was in here to fry up my rice. One thing I realized yesterday, I don't have a whole lot of seasonings going on in these, because like, for one, my guac has a lot of seasoning. There's a lot of salt and pepper in it, and then the acidity from the lime juice. And the last batch of rice that I had more. It had salt and pepper in it because of the way that I made it. So those are some things that I need to consider in this next batch. What I'm going to do deglaze this, but instead of with water like I did that one time, because I mean there's still a lot of good shit in here. I'm gonna throw in some lime juice. That'll help season it a bit. Ooh, smells limey. Now I can scrape all that crap off. That's helpful. Significantly. Alright. That also is reduced significantly because I also want a little bit of that lime seasoning in my rice. Throw in salt and pepper. Alright, you need to turn it on. There we go. Better to have like actual lime and zest some into the rice itself, and I could do that next time if I think about it. But let's get you out. It's not steaming up just enough. Alright, I think that is effectively done. So, the only thing I need to do now is wait for this thing to cook up. My giant ass, not that great sour cream. Like I had a little bit of it yesterday, and it wasn't that great. Like I got a nice big scoop of it because I like eating sour cream raw, if you want to call it that. So I took a big old scoop of it, and then I threw on a little bit of hot sauce, and it wasn't that great. Like I was disappointed in the results, and so I'm like, okay, well, I'm not gonna buy one of these giant fucking 3-pound tubs of this shit anymore. Because I have no need to. Oh man. So yeah. But no, like we need. There's so many problems that we have that could be rectified if we actually tried. If our approach was raise the floor. We have so many people out there who say, well, if you raise the minimum wage, then prices are going to go up. Well, newsflash, prices have gone up anyway. How funny is that? And, you know, it's like, if we want to make, you know, I have to wonder what people really want when they accept things the way they are. When we have prisons and jails that are for profit. I mean, I've been in jail a couple times. Not proud of it. But I've been there, done that. And it's like, when your only means of communication is either using an overpriced call collection service or literally mail, what year are we fucking living in? Well, it's because that the companies, or like the company, I think it's just one, that they work with, that makes all this money off these collections, off of people who don't have jobs because they're in jail. You know, it's like, what do you... We care so little about humans. You know, it's like, I didn't agree with everything to Occupy Wall Street when it used to be, you know, sort of a part of it. There's a lot of problems that I had. There's still some problems that I have. Still some things that, you know, I've kind of come up with, and then I'm like, I don't really like the fact that I'm thinking that way, what have you, but one of the things that I liked was people before profits. Like, yeah, duh. That makes sense. But unfortunately, that seems to be a problem. And it's like, you know, oh, don't do the time, don't do the crime, you won't do the time. Well, I'm sorry. I thought we had a system that was, you know, don't we have a system that's supposed to be innocent until proven guilty? So why is it that when you're in jail, awaiting your trial or awaiting your sentencing, before you've been proven guilty, that you can't communicate like the rest of us? You're being punished before guilt has been established. That doesn't seem very... Well, it's pretty American because that's what we do. But that doesn't seem to fit the narrative. Right? Of freedom, etc. It's like, this is why there's bail reform. This is why there is so many other kinds of prison reform. Because we need them. You know, there's a lady, she was part of the Capitol riot, an insurrection, and she's been denied bail. And she's like, she didn't have access to a phone, she didn't have access to sunlight. Well, the sunlight thing is a problem in and of itself. Like when I was in jail here in Los Angeles, you know, there's these windows that are like this fucking thing, and they go all the way up, and there's your sunlight. But then also, they keep lights on all the time. Every fucking hour of the day, there is some kind of light on at all times. That doesn't make sense. That's how you fuck with someone's circadian rhythms. That's how you make people not feel right on a regular basis. Because your natural melatonin is going to be the reason why you want to sleep. So, it would come to no surprise, this is still too big. I think it's kind of the rice too. It's not nearly as bad as the last couple, size-wise, but it's still pretty out there. Yeah, the rice is kind of a big deal here. But it's a little bit more manageable too. Fuck. It's still a little too much, but it's whatever. It's not nearly as bad. Someday I'll get it right. And then it won't be tomorrow, that's for sure, because it's the last day I have for tortillas. I'm probably not going to do this for a while. You know, it's like she is not getting phone calls, she's not getting sunlight, she says. Well, and then there are people who are like boo-hoo, and I'm like, no. That's not acceptable. I've been in jail. I know what it's like. And while I am not happy that this person took part in an attempt to overthrow a democratic process, that is not acceptable. That is not free reign for shoddy prisons and jails and behaving that way. When I was in jail, I was like, you know what? Everybody should have access to the internet. Everybody should be able to use Facebook or Twitter or whatever they want. They should be able to communicate with their friends and family. But they should be monitored. If you're communicating from jail, that means some of your liberties have been taken away. But I'm not saying that they should just be straight up gone. It shouldn't cost you money that you don't have. I had no way of communicating with anybody on the outside. None. I didn't have money in my commissary. I didn't have anybody's phone numbers memorized. I couldn't buy, pencil and paper and envelopes and stamps. I didn't have any ability to do that. So I had no way of telling people what even happened. Not to mention, if you don't know the area, you don't even know where you are. And then, when they let me go, they didn't even give me back my stuff. It was at a completely different fucking location. Half of, like my clothes and shit were at, like my possessions were not available to me when I was released. It took weeks to get back my stuff because I had to find where it was. And like, there's other stories where you got people who just get dropped off. It's like they get released at like midnight or 2 a.m. or something, and they're like, all right, good luck. That's what you're gonna do? You're gonna give somebody a bag with their shit in it and tell them, good luck. Back when I was homeless, I hadn't been homeless too long, maybe a couple months, and I still had all my stuff, so it was within that 4-month period, because like, I lost my stuff after May 1st, because we had a May 1st, strike and walk and protest and all that stuff, and then, because of the way that they had adjusted things in the park where I slept, they didn't have the big canopies on the top of the tables anymore. And that was when my stuff got stolen when I was sleeping. So more like 3 months and some change, because I got here January 21st. And during that time, I started getting up. I started collecting food stamps and general relief. Which was, $200 a month for food, to $20 a month cash. It was the first time I started carrying cash around again. When I was homeless, because using your EBT card, there could be a point where it just gets cut off, and so you don't even get to use the money that's there anymore. So the first thing you do is cash it out. But I was hanging out at the Pershing Square station on Hill and 5th, I believe. And there's this dude that came by, and he had like this kind of like workman's outfit almost, and he had this big kind of trash bag with stuff in it. And I had already seen that. I knew he had just got out of jail, because I'd seen other people in similar situations. I don't remember what we started talking about. And he was like, they just kind of left me, and it was like 4 a.m. or some shit. I don't even remember. Maybe it was like 2 or 3, something like that. And I mean, the downtown police station wasn't super far, but I mean, it was still far, especially if it's an unfamiliar neighborhood. And apparently he wasn't even anywhere near where his actual living situation was. They didn't give him a train ticket or anything to get back to his house. And so we were talking and everything, and he's talking about how he's hungry, and I was like, let's go to fucking Subway. It's literally right across the street. They took food stamps. Didn't have to be outside. And we talked for like maybe 2-3 hours, I think, something like that. He's a super chill dude. I don't remember what he was charged with. Doesn't even matter. What matters is how we treat people, and we're doing a poor job of it. You know, and that's just one aspect of our society too. You know, and yeah, I got to political talking and shit because I was talking about an autistic girl who wants to put up a sling so she can basically be comfortable in her own home. Because we all have needs. And sure, some of our needs might seem obscure. They might seem weird. But trying to understand them is more important than trying to judge them and to minimize and to limit them. I'm sure I've mentioned it before in another video, but the more I play EverQuest, and especially because like one of my main characters is female, the more I want to be referred to by that gender of that character. Does that mean that I'm transgender? Not really. But it makes me understand these things. I'm sure there's guys out there who would never play a female character because they don't even want to be associated with females. They don't want to be treated like a female for whatever reason. And, you know, everybody does act like I'm a male, and yeah, I am, and I'm not trying to be disingenuous or anything. I don't tell anybody, hey, call me by whatever. I let them say what they're going to say. Because it's not really my identity. It's not who I am. I'm not that character. I am to a degree by the way that I act, but I'm not just putting on a show either. I'm just being me in a different way. It makes me more comfortable when people call me by the preferred pronoun in that situation. Why? I don't know. I really don't. It makes sense. You know, if you're... This is why I think mental health, transgender, LGBTQ plus, etc. are as controversial as they are. because people don't understand them. And often fear aspects of it. I remember when I was younger, I was like, fuck, man, I'm going to end up with some black transgender dude who looks like a woman who's fucking gay, and, you know, I don't remember what the complaint that I had was. But these were all of my fears. These were all of my bigotries. I was putting them all into one person and saying that that's going to end up being what's going to happen in my life, and I'm going to be upset about it. Because that's what I was upset about for some fucked up reason. Because I was racist towards black people. I was bigoted towards transgender. I was bigoted towards gays. You know, it's like after the coronavirus came over, and there was more and more stories about people of Eastern Asian descent who were getting mocked or attacked or what have you. It was reminiscent. It made me remember what happened after 9/11 and how people who were of Middle Eastern descent were being attacked, mocked, and assaulted in some capacity or another. And it's like, it's been 18 years. And we still haven't changed. And I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do about that. I try to do my thing every day. I try to learn. I try to communicate. Try to make other people understand whenever I get a chance. You know, the woman who was denied bail, like, she's probably a flight risk, I guess. I don't know. People on the right are saying that she's probably going to be, you know, convicted of some kind of fraud or some other hyped up charge. I don't know. Because she's a patriot or whatever, and that they don't think that she deserves to be in jail in the first place. And people on the left are like, boo-hoo. I'm like, no, we need a middle ground. This is where people talk about, well, centrists don't fucking believe in anything. No, the centrist, as an actual attempt to be centrist, says, well, we kind of need jails, but we need better jails. How is that somehow you don't stand for anything? No. It means to stand for something better. And the worst part is like, so much information gets used as misinformation, and so much misinformation gets used as information. It's so hard to figure out even what you can do. What could be done. It's paralyzing. Which is one of the reasons why a lot of people fall towards, you know, various conspiracy theories. They're like, well, I have literally no power. And so obvious, and you know, if I feel this way, then so obviously there's other people even within the system who feel this way. But then then there's obviously people in the system who are getting things done. So there must be some sort of extra power, extraordinary power that is controlling everything and thus we do not have any control, and so we have to go up against this bigger threat. But it's like, if they're that powerful, how could you do anything? Which then only breeds more sense of powerlessness. It's tiring. And I mean, when you can barely, like me, keep the fucking lights on, as it were, how can you make any kind of real change in the world? Especially if it's to your benefit. I don't know.